Good morning, students. This is Mohan Rao, Senior Geology faculty, and today I come up with a new chapter, that is Human Health and Diseases. And this chapter has got a great importance in your medical entrance examination as well as in your board examination also. This is the chapter in which we are going to discuss about the basic concepts that are all related to the health and disease, and thereafter the common communicable diseases, and thereafter in this chapter we are going to discuss about even the various types of drugs, alcohol as well as the tobacco, and how do all these things are abused by the youth nowadays. And thereafter in this chapter itself you do study about some more detailed concepts. And today I do start with a new terms that come across in this chapter. So being as a future doctor, I should aware about all these technical terms that come across in this chapter. In today's session, I particularly concentrate on the technical terms that are all come across in this chapter. In the next session, I do start teaching all the concepts in detailed way. Coming to here, with the name of the keywords here, you can study all these the things. See this, the first one is an infection. Then what is meant by the infection? Then infection is nothing but invention and multiplication of microorganisms that are all actually present within the human body or the host body. Such a kind of engulfing or invention is known as the infection. Let us see here the technical terms. It is an invention as well as after entering the pathogen into the host body, then it start multiplying, and thereafter it causes disease in us. So the entire here process is known as here infection. So in this, what is happening? This microorganism is invading into the host body as well as it is multiplying. These organisms are present here within the body of the host. When you see here how it happens, if you feel it is the human body, the disease causing microorganisms that naturally enter within the body. After entry, it start multiplying. This multiplication and here invention together, technically we call it as infection, is a term it come across. So you should be aware about this one. Whereas the second one here is incubation, is another important thing. And what does it mean? Incubation is nothing but the stage in between the invention as well as manifestation or appearance of a disease. This is what we call as incubation period. Soon after the pathogen it enter in the body, here immediately it doesn't cause the disease. It takes some time period. Soon after the pathogen it enter into the human body, it doesn't cause here any disease immediately. It takes some time for reaching a targeted tissue or organ, and here it for its multiplication also. The time period is technically known as incubation period, and here it is the time period in between the infection as well as appearance of the symptoms. The appearance of the symptoms technically is known as manifestation. So whatever the time is present in between these two, we can here consider as the incubation period. Incubation period it is. Then coming to the next one here, if you see the manifestation, then what does it mean? Just now I said here the manifestation is nothing but appearance of a disease or disclosure of characteristic symptoms of a disease or illness is known as manifestation. Let us see here the technically here what does this manifestation it stands for. It is a display or disclosure of characteristic signs or symptoms of certain illness. This is what we call is manifestation or simply appearance of a disease. And this is another important term that come across. So as of now, we happen to see the three technical here, the terms that come across. One, it includes the infection, whereas the second one is the incubation period, whereas the third one is the manifestation. Right? Let us see here some more things. Give a pause. Right, coming to the next term that come across in this chapter, human health and disease, is the host. See this. Then what does this host it mean? Host is the organism from which the parasite it gets its nutrients and it gets its shelter also. Then that kind of organism is known as the host. Let us see now here, for example. So this is the human being. Then the pathogen it enter a disease causing organism. Then this pathogen it get its nutrients is one thing. Meanwhile this pathogen it get its shelter. And since the pathogen is getting its shelter and nutrients from the organism in which it is living or on which it is living, we do consider it as the host. In this case, let us pathogen be a bacteria that cause a disease like typhoid or something else, cholera, and here the human beings can become now the host. So simply we can say that the host is a one which provides the lodging and boarding to a pathogen. And here this pathogen may be present within the body of the host, or it may be present on the surface of the host also. Then this organism, whatever it is considered as the host. This is one thing. Then since the beginning of the chapter, I have been using this term, the pathogen. Then what is meant by the pathogen? Let us see the technical definition. The pathogen, what it stands for. See this. Here, a pathogen is nothing but a disease causing organism. Whatever the organism that causes the disease within the host, we do consider it as a pathogen. Then here let us see some of the examples for these pathogens. And here there are the various types of pathogens are there that generally causes diseases in us. Let us see some of the examples. One, it includes, here it is a bacteria is one pathogen. Various types of here bacteria are there that causes the diseases in us. Like typhoid is caused by the bacteria, cholera is caused by the bacteria. Such a type of many bacterial diseases are there. In the coming classes, I do explain in detail about all the bacterial diseases. Whereas the second one here is virus. The various types of viruses are also there. The entire contemporary world is suffering from here a disease that is here COVID-19. You know that here disease, that is also a disease which is caused by a virus. Various types of here viral diseases are there, like a common cold, chicken pox. Such a kind of diseases are there. And here coming to the third causative organism or the pathogen is the fungi. And different types of fungal diseases are here or there which infects the human beings. Coming to the here, the fourth one is the protozoans, and here the fifth one is here the helminthic parasites. So these are all the few examples for the pathogens which are all actually a disease causing organisms. These are all the examples for this. And one more interesting here point related to the pathogens. If you see, all the here parasites or almost all the pathogens, if you see, most of the parasites here are causing diseases in us. So that here, this is an important here statement you have to remember, that the most of the parasites are the pathogens to us. Right? This is all about the pathogens. Another important term that come across while we are dealing with this chapter. Right? Let us see here the next one. Right? Once the pathogen, if it enter in the body, then the host body may not be here favorable for the pathogen. Here when it enters, since this pathogen causes diseases in the host body, so this host always try to repellent the entry of the pathogen and try to kill the pathogen, so that the internal environment of the host is not comfortable or favorable towards the pathogen. So in order to survive, the pathogen has to develop certain kind of adaptation according to the environment present within the host body. Such a kind of adaptations that developed by a pathogen or a parasite is known as pathogen adaptation. Then here, what does it technical definition? Let us see now here. Pathogens, all the pathogens, they do adapt the environment that is present in the host. Within the host, whatever the environment is there, with that environment, generally this pathogen develops certain kind of adaptations. These adaptations here are known as pathogen adaptations. In the coming part, I do detailedly explain the different types of adaptations that are all developed by the pathogens. Here, I do give one of the example for this pathogen adaptation. When you see this one, here some of the pathogens used to live in the gut of the host body. Gut in the sense the digestive system or the alimentary canal. And when you see the gut pathogens, it indicates the pathogens that do live in the alimentary canal of a host. They are known as a gut pathogens. When you see the alimentary canal or the stomach of the host, very low pH level will be maintained. Coming to the human beings, almost all 1.8 pH will be maintained. So at that condition, high acidic conditions are created. At the high acidic conditions, definitely it is not possible for any kind of pathogen to survive there. So in order to survive even in such a kind of conditions, they do develop certain kind of adaptations. Even if you see here within the digestive system or the stomach, there you can find out the various types of digestive enzymes. These digestive enzymes are able to even digest a highly complex molecules like fat and proteins also. So that is the nature of these digestive enzymes. In that case, the digestive enzyme can act on a pathogen and it may here kills the pathogen also. So in such a conditions, that definitely here an unfavorable condition to a pathogen, so that it need to develop certain kind of here adaptations. About all the adaptations, I'll tell you in detail in further coming classes. And let me give some of the examples for these gut pathogens. In this case, you know cholera, thereafter here amoebiasis is one more disease. The amoebiasis is caused by Entamoeba histolytica, which lives in your stomach. And here ascariasis is one more disease caused by Ascaris lumbricoides. And here the point is the cholera causing here the bacteria Vibrio cholera, and thereafter amoebiasis causing protozoan which is known as Entamoeba histolytica, ascariasis causing here the helminthic parasite Ascaris lumbricoides. These are all the varieties of the pathogens generally that live in the stomach. So in order to here survive in the unfavorable conditions like a low pH level as well as the digestive system, these here parasite they do develop certain kind of adaptations like development of a thick coat around the body, and thereafter here development of the hooks and suckers. So these helps to them to survive in that. Such a kind of adaptations made in the pathogen here is known as pathogen adaptation. Thereafter, let us see here one more thing. Here the vectors. What does the vector mean? Here vector is nothing but the organism which spreads the disease. We can consider as here a vector. Let us see now here. See technically the vectors, what does it mean? Vectors are the organisms. These are all the organisms. Then what does they do? Actually, these vectors helps for in spreading of the pathogen. Pathogens will be get spread from one person to the another person. Such a kind of here organisms are known as here the vector. Let me give you a general example in this case. Here you can see is a malaria infected patient, malaria positive case, and here he can transfer the malaria to the another healthy one with the help of an organism. And here the organism is nothing but, as you all know here very well about that, is here the mosquito. Here female Anopheles mosquito in this case transfer the disease causing pathogen, that is here protozoan pathogen, which we call it as plasmodium. Here plasmodium is a pathogen which is get transmitted by here a organism, that is female Anopheles mosquito. In this case, the plasmodium is a pathogen disease causing organism, and this mosquito acts like a here the vector. So this is what the technically the vector is. And coming to the next one, the next important technical term that come across is etiology. See this, it is an etiology. Then what does that mean? Etiology is nothing but it is any substance that is present in the host body excessively, or else the presence of this substance may be a deficient, or else that may be absent. So any substance which is present excessively, or it is get deficient, or it may be completely absent. In such a case, we call it as a disease causing agent, or the study of this one is considered as etiology. Let me give you a clarity in this regard. So it causes here excessive presence of this here substance may be present, or else the substance may be here deficient, and thereafter it may be completely absent. Let me give you an example in this regard. For example, here thyroidism is a one thing in which actually if the substance is present, the thyroxine hormone, if it is present in the body, then it generally causes a disease. Here hyperthyroidism, and in the same case it may be a deficient. Then for example, if vitamin A is deficient in the body, then we do get a disease like night blindness. And here if at all the substance is deficient in your body also, it may cause a disease. So we consider in that case as a disease agent. And sometimes it may be completely absent because of absence of certain kind of substance. Here it may be an enzyme in our body, a hormone in our body. Then if it is absent, then definitely it causes a disease in us. So such a kind of substance all together known as a disease agent, and when you study about that particular thing, we call it as here etiology. So this is another important term that come across. Let us see here few more keywords in this chapter. So epidemiology is one more thing. See this epidemiology. So what does it includes? Actually, simple thing, epidemiology is nothing but the mode of transmission in simple terms, or the way how the disease is get spread. So then that is actually known as epidemiology. It's a means how the disease is get spread from one person to the another person, or else it is a mode of transmission that we call it as here epidemiology. So if you take a few here examples in this regard, all the diseases may not be get transmitted from one person to the another person in the same way. They do have got their own method of transmission, and here various types of transmissions are there. For example, some of them are get transmitted with a direct contact from the infected person to the healthy person, whereas some of them are get transmitted droplets is one more method, whereas some of them are get transmitted because of vectors, just now we studied detail, whereas some of them here are get transmitted through air, whereas some of them are get transmitted because of contaminated water as well as the food. In the earlier lesson we studied about sexually transmitted disease, and here some of the diseases are get transmitted through the sex or unprotected sex. So these are all the different ways that are all here adopted by the various types of pathogen for transmission from here a infected person to a healthy person. If you study about the ways how it is get transmitted or mode of transmission, that part is technically known as epidemiology. Right. Coming to the next one is a life cycle. Here is one more important thing. Here, life cycle. You might have studied about the life cycles in the botany as well as zoology part. Coming to the human diseases, the life cycle here, it includes a few different steps. In this case, here, see this, what are the steps are present within that. In the life cycle of the pathogen, when you study in the human health and diseases, we do start studying with the different stages. The first step it includes in the life cycle here, invention of a pathogen by the various means or various modes. Just now I explained how the pathogen is get transmitted from infected person to the healthy person, just like the direct contact, droplet, unprotected sex and contaminated food and water. So with all these here methods, the pathogen it enter various means by the various here methods is the first step of the life cycle of a pathogen. And once if it get enters, the second step is multiplication. Whatever the pathogen is get produced, this pathogen is multiplies because it must here damage the tissue or organ. So this multiplication is taken up by two different methods that we already studied more detailedly. It may adopt the asexual type of reproduction or the sexual type of reproduction. Whatever the method it adopts, finally here the pathogen it multiplies. After here multiply it, then what is its next function? This pathogen it interferes here, it damages or interferes or obstructs the normal vital activities, the important activities or biochemical processes of the host will be get interfered by these pathogens, and thereafter it brings a lot of morphological changes within the host body. Is here the third step. So after interfering the normal vital activities, it generally causes a morphological change, or else here it may greatly damage the functions of the host. Finally it leads to the disease. So these are all the different steps that includes in the life cycle of a pathogen. So when I explain about a particular here disease and the pathogen, I do explain about the life cycle of particular pathogen also in detail. So this is what all the different steps or different stages that includes in the life cycle of a pathogen. And thereafter, if you see prophylaxis, then what does this prophylaxis it includes? Simply we can say that the prevention of a disease. There is a old age here proverb with regarding this one. Prevention is better than the cure. So once if you get infected, then going for a treatment and here spending a lot of money and here suffering physically and mentally, and if you prevent the spreading of the disease, that is good for you. So various types of methods are available for various types of diseases in order to prevent. So such a prevention is technically known as prophylaxis. See this one, it is a preventive measures that you take. And here these are all various types. By taking the vaccination, it is one of the important preventive method. For example, in case of tuberculosis, if you go for the BCG vaccination, you do not get a tuberculosis, such a kind of disease. It's a kind of prevention. Maintenance of personal hygienic, maintenance of your cleanliness in your house, around our house, and maintenance of hygienic conditions in our society, that makes us to be healthy. So you do not get infected because of this. So these methods are all comes under here the prophylaxis methods. So apart from that, taking the vaccination, immunization is also protect us from various types of infections. So that is technically known as prophylaxis. Thereafter, if you see, the next one is the therapy. So unfortunately, if you are get infected with any kind of pathogen, then what is here next step? Only thing we need to approach here any qualified doctor. So we need to take a here treatment for that. So the treatment is technically known as the therapy. The treatment that you are taking to any kind of illness or injury or any kind of disability. So that we can consider as here the therapy or treatment in simple terms. For any disability, injury or illness, that generally we do take. So this is what the therapy is. Let us see here some more technical terms here in the same chapter. Right. Coming to the another important term, here it is an antigen. Then antigens are nothing but a large complex molecule that activate the specific immunity, and here it develops a disease also. Such a kind of complex large molecules are known as antigens. Coming to these antigens are naturally proteins, and these antigens also here highly specific to a particular pathogen. All the antigens that are all produced by the various types of pathogens are not similar. So these antigens here are highly specific. As I said here, this a kind of here the protein developed or produced by the pathogen, which is highly specific to a particular pathogen and particular disease. So such a kind of molecules which stimulate the immunity system in order to produce the here antibodies. They are known as the antigens. Then coming to the next one is antibodies. Then what does these antibodies means? Antibodies also a kind of proteins that are all produced from the immunity system when this specific pathogen is entered and it releases the antigens. And here you do have the immune system in our body. Once the pathogen it engulfs into the body of a host, then the pathogen here it triggers the immunity system, or the pathogen generated here these antigens produces. These antigens act on our immunity system and make our immunity system to produce here a special kind of here antibodies. These are known as antibodies. These antibodies generally bind with a antigen, or they may be bind with a pathogen and try to here neutralize the action of here the antigens, or try to here kill the pathogen, so that you will be get protected from the effect of certain kind of antigens or pathogens. This is what we call as an antigen. And here the point is all the antigens are proteins. They're all the proteins. Whereas the next one is the immunity. As I said just now here, the immunity is nothing but the overall ability of an organism that fight against a disease. Just now I said here, various types of your cells are present in our body, like macrophages, WBC, neutrophils and all. And along with that, the antibodies produced by this immunity system, all these actually helps us to protect from the various types of diseases or disease causing organisms. So this overall ability of an organism which fight against a disease, we can consider as the immunity. There is a concept in our lesson about this immunity and types of immunities. About all of them we will study more detailedly in further coming classes. And coming to the next one here is vaccination is one more important thing. Then what does this vaccination means? In this vaccination case here, it's a process in which we do introduce here attenuated or inactivated pathogen into the host body, or else the killed pathogen is get enter into the host body, or else here the pathogen specific antigens are introduced into the host body. And such a kind of introduction of all these varieties into the host body we do consider as here the vaccination. So feel it as a host into which actually the pathogen is engulfed. In this process you better check out this one. It is a process. In this process what we are doing? We are introducing. What are introducing into this one? Here is a point to be noted here carefully. It's an antigenic antigenic proteins of pathogens that just now I explained. These antigenic proteins are nothing but here antigens, just now I said. So these are all introducing into the host body, one thing. And the second thing is in which actually we do introduce the killed pathogens also. Killed pathogens. This pathogen is get killed. This killed pathogen that we introduce, or else we do introduce into which actually attenuated or weakened, inactivated or attenuated pathogens. This is one more important thing, or else the killed pathogen or get introduced into that. So because of that, your immunity system is get activated so that it develops the antibodies against a certain kind of pathogen. So in general, if really a pathogen it enters, or the antigens it enter in our body, since your body is already developed the antibodies against to the specific pathogen and antibodies, they do act against to this pathogen and antigens and neutralize their action so that you will be get protected. So if you take such a kind of here the things into your body, we can consider as a vaccination. A vaccination is one type of prophylaxis. I said earlier, it's a preventive method. So dear students, these are all here variety of technical terms that come across in this lesson. So you should be aware about all these terms. So in the coming classes, I do use these terms directly so that here you will be here clear with all these things. So this is for today, and in the coming session I will explain in detail what are all the varieties of common diseases, what is the basic concept of a disease, and what is the basic concept of a health and the history behind that. About all the things we will see in the coming sessions in a detailed way. Thank you.